I started out going to the pool with my cousins. I was probably 5, they were 6 and 7. So whenever we went, we started out in the baby pool. So going to the baby pool in the summertime, it was just like going to a water park because everything was right there. It was cool. You could play with your friends. Then there was a fence that separated it from the big pool. Aspiration was to get on the other side of the fence. But in order to get on the other side of the fence, you had to be able to swim. So with that, I started taking swimming lessons. I started off with beginners, wound up being a senior lifeguard. So from 5 years old to 15 years old, I went from the baby pool to the lifeguard chair. When I actually began as a lifeguard, that was my first paycheck. I was an employee of the city of Burlington. We got paid, I think at that time, $25 a week. So for that period of time, $25 was a lot for a 15-year-old guy. And that was worked there for 3 years because that was a coveted position to have. Well, when I graduated from high school, I went to UNC in Chapel Hill. That was something that I didn't really even aspire or imagine I would do. But before I graduated from high school, I joined a band. And we went to, to play fraternity parties, and then we played clubs. So we went to this fraternity party to play at Chapel Hill. And I didn't even really know that they had a university, but I saw how they partied. And I said, this is the school I want to go to. And so I applied and was accepted. One of the things that I did not know at that time, UNC had a requirement that you had to pass a swimming test. So because I had grown up in Burlington at North Park, I knew how to swim. But because there were so few black students at UNC at that time, and there was kind of a stereotype that black people did not know how to swim, when I got ready to go in to do my swim test, one of the other instructors told my instructor, you better get ready to go in and get him because black folks can't swim. So anyway, when I got in the pool, I decided I would show them that black people could swim. So when I got in, I started off with freestyle. Then after the first 50 yards, I turned over and did the backstroke. When I got to the end, I started back with the breaststroke, and then I finished up with the last 50 yards with the butterfly. So when I got out of the pool, going back to the dressing room, I turned around and looked and said, yeah, black folks can't swim, and walked away. That was a very special moment for me because if I had not gone through the North Park Pool swimming program, I would have been one of those folks who didn't know how to swim. Oh, I understood that as a 5-year-old child about segregation in Burlington and Alamance County. So once I passed Fisher Street, whether I was going with my parents or with my grandmother to go downtown, there was a different way of behavior that was expected. Still segregated bathrooms, segregated water fountains. In some stores, there were no facilities for black people, so you had to know or find where that facility was that you could go to because you could not even accidentally go into a regular store if they didn't have a colored facilities without some repercussions. So you kind of learn that from an early age, and you grow up with it. I guess the thing about segregation during that period of time is that it did force people to seek out those parks that cities had available for black people. And that's why it was such a popular location or destination, because it was segregation during that period of time. North Park offered things that many other people didn't have. So if you were in a church and you were in Yanceyville, then you would look forward to taking that trip to Burlington to have your church picnic, because you could go to the swimming pool. We had a carousel. We had boats. So for teenagers during that time coming to Burlington and going to North Park, it was probably like going to Disney World. The reason that I went through the swimming courses, like I said, 10 years, from 5 years old to 15, was because I always admired the lifeguards. You know, having all of that and having those people as role models, and there weren't a whole lot of role models. You know, you went to church, you went to school, but you didn't have a lot of role models that were your age, or that you could say that, hey, I can be that person one day. But for me, I hope that some of that camaraderie can be established with the new pool and the new programs. So hopefully it could be a year-round program that would incorporate North Park in the summertime and the aquatic center in the wintertime, so that maybe one day North Park could produce a Olympic swimmer. That's my hope. That's my aspiration, that maybe we could take some of our experience and apply it to what's available now, and maybe get some kids some scholarships, you know, swimming, for diving, for whatever, you know, their event is.